So now we are in material. Similarly, we have other options also like a business partner. Now, if I go here, BP, let's see if I have options to replicate. Now, let's take any BP. I'm in search. I click on search business partner. So here it will give you the list of business partners, whether it may be customer, supplier. So everything will be listed with the BP. I think it will take some time to load. Yeah. So now this is a standard search criteria. Here you can click on search button, right? Or you can filter here with the BPA business search criteria like supplier or customer. You can give the number and click on search. Then directly you'll get that number directly, business partner ID. So I can take anyone. Let's take this one, 20,000. And here you have options. Here, if you can see, there are some options. This is the button to replicate. So now I do this, replicate. What I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to replicate this business partner ID, where I can see in the right-hand side, you can see the target systems, but here nothing is connected. Here you can see the list of target systems. You can select the target systems and click on replicate. That's all.
I can create to the same client, right? MDG to the same client and BPLs to the same client. It is not a hard and fast rule. I should have the different client.
No, it's not like that. Yeah, same system also you can replicate. So this is kind of connection between MDG and the ABAP system. Yeah, there are two layers. I think we discussed this earlier. On top of ABAP system, ECC or S4 HANA system, your MDG system will be installed. So whatever I am doing here, this is related to MDG.
There are a list of BP cities there and you selected that one. So just an addition to that proposed question also I'm having. Recently we have loaded through bots, we have loaded some materials, like take about 1 lakh materials. And we informed to the MDG team. So what they said that they just moved to MDG to another target system as for HANA system. So that layer we want to see that one. Okay, how they did. Back in there is a job to run that one. From there we can see that we do have a multiple S4 HANA systems. Okay, so only one centralized MDG system where we can load all the master data. And we'll inform to the MDG team, and they will replicate, to the different target systems. So you are showing that only one particular record, but think about that there is a 1 lakh records it is there. So how we can replicate from MDG to other clients?
Yeah. So this is a general way of replication. This is a manual replication. Okay, there are different ways we can replicate.
Correct.
This is a kind of a manual replication. So you can choose the record which you want to replicate and you can replicate. The another replication part is automated replication. Whenever you create the change request, it will be replicated automatically. And apart from this, we will have another transaction code, DRF out. Let me go to DRF out. Okay, so this is the DRF out transaction code. So here you can use the replication model if you want to replicate anything. Now I'm interested to take this material, right? So I have taken replication model, material, and then here the outbound implementations. So these outbound implementations, this part maybe we will discuss when we are discussing the replication model. Okay. So now I will take the replication model and I need to do some filter criteria. So in this filter, I can give a number of materials or the specific materials which I want to add, material and material group. Okay, let's take, maybe I can take any one material for now. Okay, and material group, this is optional. So purely optional based on the filter criteria, you can take it and simply click on save and then execute. So this will trigger an IDOC. This is also the manual replication criteria. So one is from NWBC. Another one is from DRF out transaction.
Right? But proposed question is he wants to see that the client's systems, right? Here we are not seeing anything, correct?
Yeah, because it's not connected properly. But from NWBC,
is that S4 HANA client 100 is a client, another client, or below messages it is showing? Here, down.
Here also it is there. Yeah, here also you can see the status. Right, if I click this. Filter criteria is 0. Yeah. So now actually it will give the the IDOC number if it is connected,
Okay.
and it will give you the list of IDOCs triggered. So the business system is S4H client 100, but it is not actually triggered. Yeah.
Okay.
And there is another way to trigger this as a batch job, as you said, Madhu. So if we are having a bulk records, we don't have any other option. We have to schedule the job. This
But we
providing
need
all.
to do that one as a MDG consultant or
Anyway,
yes,
yeah, anyone can do this. Being a technical consultant, also can do that. Yeah. You can simply trigger the batch job. It will consider all the records and sends to other system.
Here itself, or any other T code that one.
This is the best way for filtration. DRF out. You can use the standard transactions also. Any other transactions apart from this MDG.
No. The batch job you said, right? Where we can do that one batch job?
Batch job we have to schedule. We can schedule this one also. Anything we can schedule. This is also kind of program. We can schedule this also. See, we can schedule this. Execute in background.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Any standard program also we can use that.
Yeah, got it.
Okay.
One more thing, like what is this DRF IMG will be used? Because when I trying to do this one, I got some DRF IMG, then different replication model. So why that T code will be used?
Yeah, that is only for the replication model configuration. Yeah. We can discuss that later. I think we are going one by one. So replication part is there in the next sessions, I think.
No. As it is a project requirement, just I thought to just get clarify.
Yeah, no problem. Now I'll tell you. So this is, we have MDG, IMG transaction code, right? So this is the main transaction code. From here, we can go, right? We can go to any one data model, replication model, process model. So everything will be navigated from here, right? Especially for this data replication, we will have a transaction code DRF IMG. So you can go from here MDG IMG or the DRF IMG, both are same. So now I'm doing /o DRF IMG. So it took me to data replication. So now I'm in MDG IMG. This is also same. Yeah. So here in this data replication, we will need to configure the replication models, right? Here, if you can see, there are some customizing settings to make the replication, right? Replication from one system to another system. There is a tab here, you can see the customizing, define replication models. When I am doing the DRF out, okay, DRF. So here you can see the outbound implementation and replication model. So this comes from the data replication model, what we configured. So these entries will populate here. So here we are selecting replication model, right? So these are the replication model 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 5, yeah, 5 are active. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 active entries are populating here, right? So this is the configuration you have to do. This configuration for replication model will be triggered automatically whenever you create the change request, or you can use this replication models when you do manual replication, or when you do batch job, like we have a huge data, we can schedule the DRF out, or we can use some other custom program to trigger this. So this is just to make the connection between MDG system to another downstream systems. So now let me take anyone, let's say for material only. Here you will have a assign outbound implementation, and inside this you will have systems. Okay, now I'm going inside. So this is for material replication via RFC. So now I have selected this, and if you have left hand side, if you can see assign target systems. So these are the target systems. Here also you can see
these two systems only we saw that one when you do replications. Yes, this is the target systems.
Yeah. So these target systems only for MDG. So this will trigger only when you use the replication model. But maybe you have connected systems that are not added in the replication. Maybe that will be triggering through some other functionality. Like if you implement a custom program, that will trigger a RFC, right? So that will send data from one system to another system. You don't need to use the MDG. But this is only for MDG. If you are interested to check, or if you are able to configure, send a data from MDG system to another system through replication model, then you can see the target systems over here. Select the replication model and check the outbound implementation and go to the target systems. So these are the targeted systems. Okay.
So I can confirm this way also, right? For my requirement.
Yes, yeah.
All the clients, it is system.
This is the way you have to do if it is MDG.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. So what they have to do, they have to create data replication model and assign outbound implementation. Implementations like through IDOC, SOA manager, whatever we have RFC. So generally we go with IDOC, SOA. Okay. So these two options I'm giving now. And assign target.
One thing, the IDOC is going to absolute. Is it true or just is a talk? Because everybody is preferring the API, right? So
yeah. Now
IDOC is going to absolute in 2025. They are telling.
Yeah, still IDOC is in use actually, not completely absoluted, because there are so much functionality to filter and all. So if you implement that in another area, it is a big, the customization. But still SAP is working on that to replicate, to replace this. But yeah, so most of the customers have started, using SOA manager or BRF entries instead of this IDOC. So it will not be completely removed. It will be there. Yeah. Fine then. So these three are relevant for your configuration, I think. Yeah, I can note this. Let's go to our discussion. We already discussed the custom object, and maybe we will discuss with technical the system related configuration, how you need to do the custom object and the mapping related to custom object. Okay. So first of all, why we go with the custom object? In which scenario we go with the custom object? As I said earlier, if we don't have any standard solution for master data, we go with custom object implementation by copying or adopting the standard functionality. What we need to adapt? We need to adapt, or we need to create a data model. We need to design and create UI, replication, and process model, right? These are these four are standard, I would say, the general models related to the master data. Any custom object, you need a data model, you need a UI model, you need a workflow for processing, and you need a replication to set up the replication, to connect a data replication, data transfer from one system to another system. You need a replication model. How you can create the data model? So you can use a data model, maybe like Z-star or Y, something, anything you can take it. Let's say if you are creating a condition record. So generally we don't have a standard data model for condition record, right? So condition record, we have VK11, yeah. So this is the transaction code to create a condition records. Just for an example, I'm taking this. So if I check this transaction code, so condition type I have to provide. So like how you create a material and material type. So now I'm going inside. So then it will give you the page where you will need to add, right? You will need to add or input all this information to maintain a condition record. So now I will take a departure country, something else. Okay. So country I have taken, tax category and tax class. Okay. Tax class, no tax class. So like this, you will need to maintain a record. Then the percentage validity, it will come automatically, and this record will be stored in KONH table. Okay, let me go here. Yeah, now let me take KONH. This is the header table. So here you will store the records. So this requirement I need in MDG. So I just need to create a change request by selecting the condition record type and all. I will provide this information, and then my change request should be triggered for this. So with this kind of information, we have to create a data model. So the data model may be I can take ZC or YC, YCA condition record. So like this, we can give any name. And what else we have to do? We have to identify what are the attributes are required. What are the key attributes? So this is a primary key, condition record number. This will become like this is like a MATNR in our data model, right? So based on this, you need to create a type 1 record because this is a root table. And the other table, KONP, here also you can see KNUMH is a condition record number. And these are the items, KOPOS, right? Number of condition records, sequence number of condition records. This is like a plant, okay? So similarly, you can create this as a type 4 entity. And what are the attributes are required? The other attributes, you can add it in MDG and make the data model ready for with the type 1, type 4, and there are maybe some type 3 and type 2 records. You can create it. And then what we can do, now let's go to MDG general settings and data model, edit data model. So if I take any standard model, what I have, as I said, I have a type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4, like this we will have, right? Now let's go to the material. What I have in type 1, I have some attributes. So similarly, we need to create a type 1 entity, and under that we have to add the attributes. So this is the data element for type 1, MATNR. Let me click on this entry, right? Entity. And here you can see this is the settings what I need to do when I'm creating a type 1 entity or type 2, type 4, whatever. So similarly here, I just double click on this. So these are important. A data element you have to provide. And this is no addition. So this is for finance. If it is related to finance, addition is required. And then key assignment. So you can take this as it is. You can refer the MDG material, and then these are not important, and then field name, yeah, our data element, and the structure. So this is the standard structure, here it is, but this structure we can add it later. This is a basic data. So all this information you have to provide and save. This is just like a root entity. So again, under this entity, we have to select this entity and go inside the attributes and add the attributes whatever you want based on the tables like we have seen. Yeah. So based on this KONH table. So first we will add this as an entity, KNUMH, and remaining fields are attributes inside the entity. So we have to design like that. So if I take any other data models here, somebody has created, you can see the custom ZMGP, right? Some are, this is active. Now let me take this GP and uncheck what entity types they have added. So this is looks a bit copy from standard data model. Let me take the other one. Yeah, here can you see there are only type 1, type 4, and type 2. So similarly, we can take a sample reference data model, how we can create. So this is entity type, have given as a ZMARA, and the data element is MATNR. And inside the attributes, you can give the attributes whatever you wanted to have in the change request. And similarly for type 4. And again, we need to create the relationship between this. So if I take this type 1, and I have a relationship between my plant from entity, and this is a to entity, to ZMARA. Right? You can create a relationship qualifying. Qualifying is for key fields, additional key fields. A leading is for the main key field, which comes from the root entity. And this comes from the type 3, right? Type 3 to the type 4 entity, which we want. The attribute will automatically become as a key field or non-key field. If it is qualifying, it will become WERK, plant become as a key field. If it is referencing, this will become as a non-key field, right? Like how we have a relationship in standard material data model. So similarly, we can create a relationship And we can visualize the data model also. It looks like the same. So we will have main entity, and under that we will have a dependent entity. And if I click on this detail view, you can see the entity itself. Material was added. This is a root attribute, and remaining are added under this entity. So now you can see the leading and qualifying. Same, like it will act as the same based on the relationship. It will bring the additional attributes. So this is the data model part. We can create easily. And then we will need to create the UI. So the UI part, as I said, so we can copy the standard UI functionality, which is already available. So to do that, we will need to go to the UI model. Here from an MDG, you will have UI modeling, and you will have manage UI configurations. Let's go with this manage UI configurations. Here you can see all the data models listed along with application configuration, and UI configuration, and where you can see the status, communicator status is green. That will be, like those can be used which are in green are activated, which are in red not properly activated. There is some naming conventions to create this application configuration and UI configurations. Here you can observe that USMD OVP gen and USMD gen OVP. So gen comes here and OVP comes the next gen. So like this, we have to follow some naming conventions and create the UI part. So to create a UI for any data model, suppose I want to create UI model for my custom data model. So I will need to take this USMD entity value 2. So this is a generic template. So this is a generic template for single processing of an entity for creating a single change request. So we can make use of a copy of this application, right? So we can copy this and we can adopt the standard functionality. So wherever you see the blank, so these are all for generic purpose or copy purpose. So this is not dedicated to any data model. So you can copy this. So this is also copy option for copying USMD search. So this is the search template. So now how search looks, let me go with this first. So now I'll click on this USMD search template. I click on display, I go here, and let's click on test button. So something went wrong. Yeah. So generally we can search from here. We can test this UI application, whether it is working fine or not. This is standard main page, search functionality is there, and search UI BVs are there. So these two comes from the standard. So now if I take any other here, the custom data model, let me take GM. This is also not properly configured. First, maybe I'll show you the standard one, and then we can go to the custom one. So now I'm taking the standard UI. So this is the MDG BS Mat search. In the last version, I'm taking search underscore 09. Click on display, and then you will have OVP page. So before going here, now if you scroll down and see, here there is a data model. So this is the data model you need to pass.
Hey, you know, ZaranTech now offers SAP corporate training. That's right. Train your workforce in SAP with our comprehensive program. We offer customized courses, certified trainers, and hands-on labs for both individuals and businesses. Our standout features: bespoke training, fully configured servers for practice, in-house materials, and a dedicated LMS. Plus, get session recordings and 24/7 support. From functional to technical modules, we have got it all. Choose ZaranTech for SAP training and watch your team excel. Learn, upskill, succeed with ZaranTech.
Data model, and this is the object one, business object 194. So now I click on OVP 09 and let's go and test this. So this is the standard functionality for search. So similarly, you can copy this same functionality to any of your data model. So based on the data model key, this criteria will be changed. You need to generate some search field, and then that is different. But this field will change automatically. Say here we are getting a material, industry sector and all, right? So if you copy this standard functionality, So it will be automatically adjusted to your custom object. The same frame, same format will be used, okay, for searching anything, any master data. And now let me go to the custom one. So uncheck. So USMD entity value 2. Let me take this, click on display. I doubt whether it will work properly or not. Now if you come down and see, here we have added the data model ZM. So this data model is in MDG IMG. So come back to data model. You can see this ZM. So this is the one, custom data model for material. So this UI application is used for DM and CM data model. Now let me go to this. So this is also not properly activated, but let me try testing this, how it looks. So something went wrong. It's not properly configured. But so this will be very rare. The custom implementation is very rare. But if you try in the system, we have to try properly creating everything and activating everything. Otherwise, it will give some short dumps and it will also disturb the standard functionality. So better you just learn how to create a data model, how to add UI application to the data model. And the replication and the process model is separate. But these two, data model and UI model configuration, is important. If you have a knowledge, then you can do that later also. The basic configuration or basic understanding for data model and UI model is definitely required. To create a data model, what we need to identify the key fields and root entity and dependent entity. For anything, root entity and dependent entity. Like header and items. What are the header and header attributes? Header tables. And what are the item related tables? Items comes under type 4. That's all. Whether it is a WBS, condition record, and whatever it may be. Yeah. Then the UI part is simply you can copy the standard UI part. So that way we will cover. Maybe it is there in the slides. Let me go to slides. Yeah, that is important. So agenda directly it is MDG application framework. But yeah, in this slide you will have a lot of information. But maybe I will cover what is required exactly for us. And there are some technical information also. You no need to go through everything. And if you have some knowledge, that is enough, I think. Yeah, to have a custom data model or extending the data model. So what we need, let's say I have a material data model. It's a standard data model. And then I need to add my custom fields to the existing data model. Z10 information is required, or some other planned information I need to add, or maybe MRP related attributes I have to add. So in that case, we will have two options. What are those two options? Either we can go and modify the existing entity, extend data model. Example, I will take MM. There are two options. The first option is choose the relevant entity and add the custom attribute or field. And what is the next one? Next one is create the new entity and add the custom fields, right? The first one is we can make use of the existing entity, and the second one is create the new entity. I no need to use the existing entity, no need to disturb it again. So I'll need to create a new entity, separate type 4 entity maybe for this, and make the relationship between root entity or the dependent entity, whatever we need, the attributes from plant related or MRP related. Then we will need to create the relationship. Okay, just a minute. Yeah, I'm back. Sorry. So there are two ways, right? One is choose the existing one or create the new entity. I want to create a new entity. Let's say I am decided to create a new entity in this MM. So what I can do, I can go with this MM, an entity type. Here, simply create a new entries. You can give Z10 and choose the storage type, provide the relevant information, save it, and then add the attributes. That's all. Or if you want to, I no need to disturb this again. Yeah, so I'm not saving this. So if I want to add my attributes to the existing one, then what I can do, I can go with this again, entity types, take the entity. In this case, I will take ZTIN, or maybe I will take MARC basic. So here, if I want to add additional attributes, directly you can go to additional attributes and create entries. And also you can have a relationship. So with this, you can get the additional attributes if it is required from other entity, root table or some other type 4 or type 3, whatever it is relevant for your functional list, then we can have that attributes. And we have a completely, these two are with the existing one. Okay, so extending data model, and the other one is create a new data model and create custom data model. This is completely new. So what we have to do here, we have to work everything. So create a new data model, create new UI, create a new process model, and create new replication model. The same you can see here as extending SAP's data model, standard model provided. If it is a standard model, what you need to do? Pre-configuration data models. So before creating data models, we need to identify what are the relevant attributes, relevant tables, how we can create a data model. So that is the prerequisites. Okay. And the workflow functionality and data distributions are available. How we will create a change request and to whom it should trigger, who will be the approver. So that functionality, you need to figure out how the change request should be triggered and gets the approval process. So data model and process model is covered, and the UI part is the standard UI part. And in the UI also, you can again do the modifications. There are maybe you can remove some attributes. You no need to add everything whatever you have in the data model. You can change the attributes based on the condition type, like how you change based on the plant or based on the change request type for material. Similarly, you can change the UI part with the CBA or enhancement, or you can go with some customization. The UI changes related to that particular requirement, you can do that. So this is common. I'm just skipping this part. Wherever it is required, I'm just directly going there. Yeah. And now you can see this diagram here. We will have enhance, create, copy, and customizing. So customizing means we will be extending the existing data model. Enhance. Enhance means we will be enhancing the existing data model. So you need to identify parts of the applications need to be revised. You need to identify which part, which entity type to be changed, either in entity type or from the UI perspective. From UI also we can identify. Now if I go to UI, so let's go to MDG, so NWBC again. Let's go to NWBC. Now I'm going to material. I'll take a material. So I'm under plants. Let's go to the details, plant details. Now my requirement is I have to add another section over here next to the production resource tool. Maybe I will need to add a production resource details. Okay. So how we can add? This is my requirement. So what we need to do, we need to understand the requirement first, and then we have to identify which entity is relevant for this. Which entity is relevant for this? Either you can use the existing one or you can create a new one. So in this case, if I want to add a new tab over here, so is it the new one, or we will be adding attributes or fields into the existing entity? Can anyone tell me, is it existing entity or it's a new entity? So this is a new existing. No, it's new actually. See, now if I want to add some attributes here inside this, so this is existing entity. If I want to introduce a separate tab, new one, so then that is a new entity. So now if I want to change this, right? If I want to add a few more attributes here, right, like a grouping key 1, key 2, along with this, I need to add a grouping key 3 and 4. Then we will be working with the existing entity. If I want to add a separate entity or separate section like this, production resource details or more information, then you need to create a new entity, and you need to have a relationship between this and the new entity. You have to create a relationship and get the attributes from here, whatever the attributes are required to display in another entity, and get it from here through relationship, and you will have some other attributes and fill that information through a feeder class. That feeder class and all I'll tell you. Okay, so this is called a data model extension. Extension means adding some other functionality, enhancing the functionality to the standard data models. This is enhance and create and copy. So maybe in some cases you may create a new entity. In some cases you can copy the existing entity and add some other or more attributes, and you will have a customizing, completely customizing. It's like you no need to use the existing functionality, either the change request or a data model. You will be completely customizing. So these three options are there, and it will be come under floor plan user interface, right? Floor plan, we will be having FPM in MDG. In FPM, we will have UIBBs. What we will have? We will have UIBBs. So UIBB, it is a user interface building block. UIBB means user interface. It is related to user interface building block. And again, we will have ZUIBB. Okay, let's see what it is. Now I'm going ahead. Here you can see structure of FPM application. This is a bit technical. Maybe I'll give you the overview. I'm not going in depth. Yeah, and if you see the floor plan manager, how it has under the floor plan FPM, we will have UIBB, and we will have a generic UIBB, and we will have feeder class. Now, for now, just remember this: FPM, UIBB, and feeder class. So this FPM is a UI part, and inside that we will have UIBB, and UIBB will have feeder class. So now let's go back to the change request. Yeah, I'll take any material. See what I'm saying? UIBB. So here, this is a user interface, right? This is FPM I'm saying this is FPM. So how we can identify which UIBB it is, which feeder class we have. So that is all technical. Now, let me take this a basic data or general data. Okay, this is a general data related to material. I want to understand which feeder class is assigned for this to bring the data. So now I can see this material 24 and unit of measure PC, all this information, right? So how it is connected from database to my UI through feeder class. So feeder class helps us to bring the data from the database and display in the UI. To check that, let's go to the technical help. And if you go to technical help, here you will have a WebDyn Pro component and application data. And here you will have a component configuration. So this configuration you can check from SAT also. Now I'm going inside this component configuration. And then, so this is a format, right? This is a plain format. So in my change request, I'm able to see the material number, base unit of measure, all this information. How it is displaying based on the feeder class, I said. So if you go to general settings, here you will have a feeder class. So this feeder class, it acts like a bridge between a database and UI. It will pull all the data from the database tables and populate for us. Let me click on this, a feeder class. So this is a class. Let's copy this. And let me check this class. And here we will have interface. Yeah, this is a standard one. Okay, nothing is there. Fine. CL MDG BS mat feeder underscore format. So for every process before get it. Let me take the other one. This is not properly showing. Now what I will do, I will go and create a change request. From there I will take edit. I will take process material. And from here I'm going to general data. And I will take feeder class from technical help. So general data, let's do right click, technical help, and we will have application configuration and component configuration. Earlier I went directly here. So now I'm going this one, and then I'll get this. Okay. Again, I'm going to, so now we can see this properly. We will have exactly what I'm looking for. We will have FPM UIBB. So this is UIBB, user interface building block. And if I click on configure UIBB, it will take to the skeleton. From here, I will get the feeder class. So this is my feeder class. So this feeder class, I'm just opening in SC24. Okay. This feeder class, you can see there are some logics. There are some standard methods. What I said, this will bring the data after get data. This triggers after get data. This will bring the data from standard tables and displays for us. Display the information for us. So this is common for every UIBB. You will have a feeder class for every UIBB. Not only for the general data. For every UIBB, you will have a feeder class. So now this is general data. Now I'm going bit down, and here in the plans, I'm doing a technical help for application configuration, and then I'll go to OVP layout. So this is for plant, and click on configure UIBB, and then you will have a feeder class. So this is feeder class related to list comp. It should display the different feeder class. Now let me go inside. Let me try here. This is for plant. Something went wrong actually. This is showing the same feeder class everywhere, but this is wrong. Maybe let me try with the BP. I'll take anyone. And now general data, technical settings. Then I will have application configuration. I have component configuration. This is for BP details. Let's go with this. And I'll have a OVP here. I have everything. So now let me check one by one. Now I will take a business partner. This is one. Configure UIBB. So this is for BP address related feeder class. Address related BP. Where everywhere you can see the get data and the process event. So get data is used to get the information from the tables. Generally we will have a get data and get definition. For most of the feeder classes, we will have methods get data and get definition method. Let me go to the other one, probably bank data. So directly I'm going here and see the feeder class. So this is for bank accounts. So there is a different feeder class, right? So in this feeder class, again, we will have, if I scroll down, we will have get data, we will have get definition, process event. So these are the standard events, so which will be used to get a data, get field catalog information, and identify whether it is a create, a change, and whatever. So if you want to do any enhancement, you can do the enhancement for this feeder class for every UIBB. So this is the technical. For every user interface building block, we will have a feeder class. Why feeder class is used? Feeder class will be used to get the data from database tables and display. Feeder class is used to display the field catalog, how it should display labels and other enhancement, pre-exits or post-exit before creating a change request or before displaying to the user. So we can have some enhancements. So that part are related to the feeder class and FPM, right? And we will have different types of UIBBs, generic UIBB, tabbed UIBB, composite UIBB, right? This is all technical. I'm just going ahead a bit. So this is required. This is part of CBA. I think we have discussed already. Whenever you want to do any changes related to the UI, we will have a CBA concept, context-based adaptation, and we will have a personalization. We will have a customizing. We will have enhancements, right? So all this configuration related to the UI comes under UI model. So that comes under FPM, floor plan manager. So how this floor plan manager will be integrated to the data model and BRF, etc. I think you can go through this. And this is for Solman. So I think you have knowledge or experience with Solman. So Solman solution manager will be used to transport our changes. It's not a part of MDG. So I think it is a general concept. solution manager, how we can transport our changes from development to quality to pre-prod and pre-prod to production. So based on the landscape, how it will be responded, how we can create a request in the Solman, and how it takes from one system to another system. So it may be different between the systems, or different between the business. Maybe in one system we will have a different approach, and in another system we will have different approach, like from development to quality to production. We will have a dummy system for pre-production. In some systems, we will have development, quality, pre-production, and production. So here we will have one development system. And all the transports will be handled in the development through Solman change request. It will be moved from development to quality, and then quality to production. This is a general concept. And you need to know the change request, change documents. I think these are not added here. What I'm saying, the change request, a change documents. Whenever I create a change request, I can see the changes related to the material, changes related to the business partner. How I can understand that? So here you will have a material. Let's take a material. And if I go here in the left hand side, you can see the change request and documents, and you will have a display change documents. So display change documents. I can take a material, and maybe I will take any one EAM, and I can select any material. Or let me continue, execute like this. No data selected, nothing is there here. Because of this test system, we don't have much. Or let me go to the change request directly, and I'll show you that created by me. Yeah. So I have a change documents option. So I just wanted to check what are the changes performed in this change request. Click on this change documents. So this is important. You can see the changes related to the CR, whether it is create, updated, username, date, time, entity type which was changed, and the old value and new value. Old value and new value. So this is the overview change, or I mean changes overview. Now if I change this to attribute, I can get this change documents attribute wise. So based on the date, username, date, time, entity type, and what was the earlier value, what was the new value, which language it is changed, change attribute, right? This is a old value, this is a new value. So everything will be available in the change document. This is a new material, maybe, right? Create material. It is with $151 and it is new. And if it is an existing one, you will be able to see. Let me go to the other CA. So this is for finance. What I have done here, profit center, maybe this is also create. Let me check this change document, change overview for attributes. Yeah. So this is a profit center value. What are new and what are changed here? What is the old value? What is the new value? Each attribute, each entity type, everything will be displayed. So this is required for the users. So they will track the changes related to each object. So this change document concepts, we will have so many requirements in real time. So generally they wanted to check this change document every time. They have to go here and identify which record the change documents are required, and have to click this change document and display again and again, right? So this is a time consuming process. So instead of that, they may require to see everything together, all the change documents. So in that case, we may need to go with analytic report. So where you will get everything. So some options are not working here. You may need to get everything. It will display everything, all the change documents. So like how I have here. So I will be taking a material. Unfortunately, I can't able to show you here. It will display everything, what are the changes are applicable for the fields, and which material type, which user. You will have a filtration based on the user and material type, a date, etc. It will display everything together. And nowadays, we will have an analytic report. Like we will need to implement an analytic report by using the CDS views. So here we will have a process analytic tab. So in this process analytics, we will need to generate a CDS view for data models. So these CDS views will be used to create a CDS reports, or it will generate the structure. So it may be having 100 attributes or maybe more than 100 also. It will be displayed easily without hitting the the general ABAP SQL statements. So if you want to display the huge data for around 100 or 150 records in the production, 150 fields with thousands, lakhs of records. So a normal ABAP report will not pull all the data. It will go into the dump. So in that case, we will use a CDS option. So this CDS have a CDS views, and it works with the OData services and then pull all the information easily. And they can use this for extracting the data, and they can use it for any other tools, other third-party tools to display this information. The change document is important. Maybe if you get time, you can go through this change document and the process analytics related to CDS. I think this is bit old what we have this. Yeah. So this part is also we have discussed mass data transfer overview, how we can transfer the data. We can transfer through IDOC or can transfer through web services. File transfer, replication options we will have. We will have through file transfer, we will have through IDOC, we will have through web services, RFC. So that we will discuss in the replication model. Yeah. So this is like a change request, how it displays in the search criteria. So what is mean by this? If it is a clock, it is a pending change request, right? So this tab is for create a new request for new object. So this is tab is for copy functionality, copying any material, business partner, anything. And this is for mass change, multi-processing. This is for change documents, how we have seen the change documents for the each change request which we have created. Similarly for search also, in the search bar also you will have the same functionality.
What sets ZaranTech apart in SAP corporate training? It's our unique blend of expertise and innovation. We offer customized courses tailored to each client's needs, ensuring relevant, targeted learning. Our vast trainer database brings you wisdom from the best in the field. Need resources? Access our extensive training material repository anytime. We are all about measurable results, providing detailed student metrics to track progress. And we don't just teach, we build community. Join our thriving social media network, connecting learners beyond boundaries. With ZaranTech, you are not just training, you are transforming your SAP expertise.
Let's go to the search material. If I click on search, now you can see as soon as I select a material, these buttons will be enabled. So now it is disabled. Only new is enabled, right? So now if I select this, remaining buttons will be enabled. You will have a new functionality, copy, mass change document, replication status. So all these buttons are explained here. Create multi-processing. This comes mainly in finance. Okay. And the change documents and block to create new, copy new one. Similarly, we will have block functionality, delete. And this is for checking this is for replication status, and this is for triggering the replication again, right? The manual replication. If I want to check the replication status, here it will display the replication status. If there are any systems, connected systems, target systems, it will be displayed, and the status, date, time, everything will be displayed over here. Yeah, this, this is a pending change request whenever we have a clock symbol. If nothing is means it is free. It is free from the change request. And these are the configuration parameters for entity type and search mode and the data model. This is not useful much. I'm just going ahead because there are huge PPTs, no need to explain everything. Yeah. So this is also a bit technical. Data model, This I have shown you when we are copying UI, and this is CBA, and this is application configuration, FPM list UIBBs and form UIBBs, a feeder class, and yeah. So this I think I need to cover. Yeah. So when you are creating a new data model, we will need to generate the data model specific structures, right? When you are creating a new data model, we will need to generate a data model specific structures. So here it is, generate data model specific structures. Why we need to generate this data model specific structures? So if you generate the data model specific structures, whatever you have added in the entity type and attributes, which will generates or creates the structures, like we will have staging structures. So these structures will be used for search functionality, for SMT mapping, for key mapping. So there are several services. So these you can see, if I go inside the data model, I can see the generated structures. So before, I think, coming here, we will have generate data model structure, and after that we will have generated structures. So data model specific structures. So these are the generated mode. So this is for mapping purpose. This is for search purpose. And this is for PDF based. We will have a different options where to use this functionality, where to use this search. Where to use this structure. Okay. So this is the entity type or entity type related structure. So where we have to use this structure. If you have a key mapping in your functionality, you may need to enable this where used for key mapping and generate the structures. To create a data model, we need to follow the remaining steps related to the data model. I will say create data model, entity and attribute, activate it. We can activate later. Yeah, generate data model specific structures. And what else we will have? We will have adjust staging. We will have here adjust staging area of linked change request. Just staging area. So these three are required. So this adjust staging area will be used for enhancements, not for a new data model. This will be used generally when you enhance the existing data model. When you add something, you need to adjust the staging area. So this we have to perform and activate the data model. These four is required. Okay, and then what else we have for this is all you have too much PPTs. You need to go through everything. Yeah, SMT mapping also we discussed, we covered already. And this DRF we'll see later. Yeah. So this is important. This is useful screen where you can see how staging area and active area will have in reuse and flex mode. So have you seen this? Anyone know this? We have already covered this topic initially, but by seeing this, are you able to get it? What is a reuse and what is flex? So in reuse, we have
flex mode normally used for financial objects only, right?
Right.
And the reuse mode reminding like the workflow we can use longer. I think 0 to 99. Yeah. So this reuse mode always we use material, customer, supplier.
Right. Yeah. But I think this concept in this diagram here, you can see the reuse mode, we have separate boxes, and for flex we have only one box where staging and active both are same. But in reuse, staging is different and active is different. Can you see that is the main difference? Why we have only one box in flex? Because in finance it is a sensitive data. We should not lose the data. So we will be maintaining only one box. After activation also, staging area remains same. After activation of change request, staging area will remain same. It will make a copy into the active area, but it will replicate, but it will make the copy into the staging area again. It won't remove the data. But where in reuse, as soon as the change request is created, submitted and approved, once the activation is done, this area will become blank. Completely it will move from here to here. From staging to active, it will move the data. But here in finance, it won't move. It will copy, it will keep the copy and replicate the data. So for example, if I create a material, after activation of material, I can't see the staging tables. Now we are talking about tables, right? Structures and etc. So these structures will hold the data. Now let me go to the program USMD underscore data model. So here I'll give data model. So I'll take material, entity type, material, and this is the generated structures. So I said like we need to generate the structures, right? Why we need to generate the structures? Because these structures will store the data. These are the structures or tables which will hold the change request data. See, these are the data before approval. This is a temporary data. So this data will be vanished or removed automatically as soon as we approve the change request. If I approve the change request, it will be deleted from here. But in finance, it won't delete. Now, if I go back and check finance, maybe we will have more entries than this. See, for finance, let me take the CCTR table. We'll have few only, but here you can see 0 and 1, both 0 and 0 for it indicates the active or not, 0 for not active, 1 for active. So this record is active. So it holds both the data, active and inactive data, staging area as well as active area. But in reuse, it won't store. In reuse, system will store, MDG tables will hold only inactive data. Once the change request is activated, this data, MDG related data, will be removed and completely moved to active data. In finance, it will maintain both. So that is the main difference. I hope you got it, or still it is confused. Madhu, is it clear?
Yes, Srikanth. Yes.
Yeah.
I got it.
Okay. And this is how we need to add a new entities to the existing data model. Here you can see the red. We will be adding a new entities and how it looks like this. Leading entity here from the table, Mara table I have taken. As I explained, for condition records, we will need to take from table, KONS table. Similarly, for type 1 and type 4, we will need to take from C. Similarly, for condition records, we will need to take from KONP table, and then create a leading entity and dependent entity and have a relationship between entities and create a data model. And how we will add a link between data model and UI. So that functionality defines here, define available UI adapters. These are the standard UI adapters. You can copy this BSOVP, BP, BSOVP, MATOVP, for search related USMD entity search, all these standard, where you will have some customization. Actually, this is all a customizing part. Just need to add a UI and enable. Okay. Configure properties of change request. This we already discussed. Define actions. So there are standard actions related to UI and workflow. All these are already discussed, I think. This is something customizing parameter. If you add the parameter, then you will be able to see the work item processing from SWIA, some FPM or workflow related functionalities will be enabled to your user ID automatically. So that is FPM underscore config underscore expert. You have to add this parameter to get some FPM related functionalities. Admin access, and this is UIBB, where you will have a UI overview page, application configuration and component configuration, all these things. This is all pure technical, I think. If I go technical also, I think you don't get it much. Yeah. This is a business activity for MDGS. Moreover, same. The business activities also we discussed. The business activity is assigned to the change request, so that the change request or system will identify whether it is a create a material, update material, the logical actions, create, delete, update, mass create, mass change. All those comes under a business activities. How we can create a business activities, that we already discussed. From MDG MG, you will have a business activity creation. So here, if I go here, process modeling, I'll have a business activity. So define logical systems and create a business activity. This business activity will be used in the change request concept. So moreover, it is theory. Maybe you will need a lot of patience to go through these PPTs and try to get it. If you have any doubt, maybe you can come to me. So we will discuss. It's a combination of both technical and functional, I think. Yeah. So for data model extension, it is important to understand, are we creating a new entity or are we extending the existing entity? So that concept you need to get it. So when we need to create a new entity, if there is no relation, if there is no entity is already created, already existed in the system, then you will need to introduce a new entity and have a relationship. If it is already existed and we just need to add only few attributes or few fields, then you need to go with the existing one only. So that is a data model enhancement. And same will be added to the UI. Whatever you enhance in the UI, that will be added to the UI. Any doubt on that? Okay, it's not understandable. I don't know what I am trying to say. The main concept for is extending data model. So here, if you extend the data model, if I add any new entity to the MM, so now if I add new entity in MM, that entity I can see here. If I scroll down, at last I can see one entity, ZZ10, let's say ZZ10. So this entity should be added to the UI also. So this is a data model enhancement and UI enhancement also. To add it in the UI, what you need to do, you need to enhance UI also. Like how you can enhance? You can enhance through customization. So now this is a material, right? Let's say I have a custom entity Z10. This holds the additional Z10 information. Okay. So here I have added like a ZTIN number and I have added ZTIN underscore EAN, ZTIN underscore something like a category. So these three fields are added. So along with this, what I will have a material number, MATNR. So this is my new entity, simple entity. I have added here. I'm not directly changing this because this will get disturbed again. So if I add this new entity here with these attributes, and then what I will need to do, I will need to add this in the material also, right? I mean in the UI. So where I have to add, I have to identify which place each Z10 should be displayed. Let's say here next to the general data. This is my general data. Here I have to add. Then what I have to do, I have to go to technical settings, and here let's go to the component configuration, and then we need to add a new UIBB. Here we have to add a new UIBB. So that UIBB will have a feeder class, and feeder class will bring the data from the database tables, either to create a change request, update the change request every time. We will have to use the feeder class, right? And this data model is required a SMT mapping also. SMT mapping. If we have a SMT mapping, we will get the structures from the data model, and those structures and attributes will be added in the UI. Got it? It is still not understandable. This is somehow technical. What I can say now, maybe I'll give some steps. So here, like create new entity, the MM data model. This is extending standard MM data model. Okay. And after this, extend the UI, the new UIBB. I can extend it, UIBB. How we can extend? We can extend through CBA or enhancement. I'll have all the sections. If I go edit, I can add a UIBB. I can add my UIBB. I can add a new, so extend UIBB with Z10 fields. All these fields will come. The UIBB like Z10 underscore list UIBB. It will be like this maybe. And this has a feeder class. Add the feeder class Z10 underscore feeder and do the SMT mapping. SMT mapping for staging to active and active to staging. And before this, we will have one step called generate data model specific structures. These structures may be MM/ MDC. Structures may be like this. Okay. And SMT mapping. And then what we need to do in the feeder class, get definition method to get data and field catalog. And then what we have to do, replication model. Replication, Z10, the replication filters. Yeah, that's all. So these are the steps, the example steps I gave for extending data model. Okay. Whenever you extend the data model, you need to identify whether you will be adding a new attribute or you will be adding a new entity. If it is adding a new attribute or new entity, then do the same SMT mapping and then change the UI and change the replication part. And that's all. Yeah. Once the replication is done, you can see the data. But in some scenarios, SMT mapping is optional. This is optional. Can you guess which scenario it is? So SMT mapping is optional when you go with a custom implementations. It is not always required because you will have a separate replication. It is not dependent on the standard functionality, like it won't use the access class. Maybe we will have a separate functionality. It is not required to create a SMT mapping for each and everything. So for custom models, we will have an optional SMT mapping. Okay, so this is a bit technical as well as functional in class. Maybe I'll ask you to go through these PPTs or diagrams again, and then you can ask me questions if you have any doubt. There are 123 total. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay then. Yeah. Thank you all. Thank you. Bye.